What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Programmer Dude channel. As always, I am your host, Programmer Dude. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to draw out a schema on the website DrawSQL, and then we will have it exported as a .SQL file, which will convert it into a basic template for us to work with. So I'm going to start out by going to www.drawsql.app and then create a new schema, or a new diagram, same thing. Since you're new to DrawSQL, take a moment real quick to pause the video and create a quick account. It's free and easy to use and comes in real handy when it comes to designing your databases. So now I'm going to create a new diagram, check to make sure it's set up for SQL Server, and then we're going to call it Tutorial Schema. Click Create New. Alright, so now we got a blank template to work with. So we're just going to make a few tables to give you guys some good examples to learn from. So click Create New Table. You'll see right in the top spot a place to name it. We're going to call it Employees, and we're going to give it a few columns. So one thing you might notice right away is when we created the table, it automatically comes with an ID column along with a key symbol, as you see right here at the bottom. Now, a primary key is a field in the table in which uniquely identifies each row or record in a database table. Primary keys must contain unique values. A primary key column cannot have null values, and a table can only have one primary key, which may consist of single or multiple fields. When multiple fields are used as a primary key, they are called a composite key. If a table has a primary key defined in any field, then you cannot have two records having the same value of that field. Alright, so now we got that taken care of and out of the way. Let's go ahead and create a column. We're going to call this Employee Name, or EMP name for short. We're going to give it a data type of varchar, or nvarchar on this website. It's the same thing. And as you can see, there's a couple different options off to the side. We don't really need them, but these are options for if you're building a database later. Alright, we're going to add another column here, and we're going to call this one here Start Date. Now this one we will call it a date time instead of nvarchar or anything else. That would be the data type is start date, or date time. Excuse me. So let's create another column here, and then we're going to call this one role. And this one will be a nvarchar as well. Name of the role the employee has. So we're going to do another table here, and we're going to call this one salary. We're going to actually give this one a float data type, so it can have a decimal point. Alright, so we'll create another column here. We will call this one roles. This one will be a linking table, and we'll link back to this table here, and it will be represented by a role ID, so it will be an int. So we'll create another final column and call this one departments, and this will also be referring to another linking table and also be an int. So now that we've got our starting table, we'll create our first linking table and give it the name of roles. This will be a small table since there will be many columns for it, but that's okay. We'll drag it over here off to the side. Alright, we'll create a new column here. We'll call this role name. This one will be an nvarchar, so this is going to be a name of a role. And then we'll create another column here, and this one will be role level to indicate the level of that employee's role. For instance, like HR1, Operations 3, etc. This one will also be an int. So alright, next table we'll create, we'll call benefits. This will be our benefits linking table. We'll drag this off to the bottom down here a little bit out of our way. Now this will list all the benefits the company offers, and we'll link it back to the employees table. So we're going to need a column, and we're going to call it benefit, and it will be an nvarchar data type, and that's it. That's all we need for this table. And we'll create one final table. This will be our department linking table. And it's going to only have one column as well. And it will be department name. Drag that over here. Go ahead and call the name, or create the column. So we're going to call it department name. Actually, we'll just go ahead and shorten it to department name, DEPT name. Make it a little bit more simpler. Alright, and this one will also be an nvar car. Like I said, the name of the department they're in. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to export this as a .SQL file, like I told you guys before. It's going to be really easy. Just click up here where it says File. Just go down to Export. Make sure it is in SQL Server. And we'll scroll down. And we will download it. And then just go ahead and click through the prompts. Name it whatever you want to name it. And then for the next step, we're going to need to download SQL Server Management Studio. I'm going to put a link for that in the description for you guys to download straight from Microsoft. It is completely free and easy to use. But we definitely are going to need SQL Server to be able to finish this. This is basically what it is the IDE, or the interactive development environment, for you to create queries in your data table, your databases and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is go down here, and you can see on this page right here, this is what it's going to look like when you guys click on the link, and you'll see right here in the middle of the top of the page, you'll see free download, and you'll just download it, and it will be an executable file. It will be just the installer package, and you'll just go ahead and install that, and click through all the prompts, save it where you want to save it, and then we'll go ahead and go from there. Alright, so once you've got SQL Server downloaded, go ahead and open it and start a new server. And we're going to right click on the left of the screen where it says Databases over here. And we're going to create a new database. A little prompt will come up. We'll create a new database, and we'll call it Tutorial DB, short for database. Alright, so now that we've got that done, let's go ahead and import our new schema we just created. To do that, simply click on File, and go down to where it says Open, and then click on File. Find the .SQL file you created, and then click OK. And it should load everything onto the screen. This part might get scary looking once the import is complete, because you're going to be looking at a screen of SQL code and you're not going to know what's going on. But that's okay. I'm going to break all this down for you guys so it's easy to digest. So something you may actually notice is if you look at the code, it might seem like plain English. And that's because SQL syntax is pretty straightforward, so it's easy to understand. Up here, where it says create table, that's exactly what we're doing, is creating a table. We're creating this table called employees. However, one thing you won't see here, and it's rather important to know, is a piece of code called drop table if exists. This tells the database that if there are any existing tables called employees, to drop it from the database. Then we follow that up with create table line to create a new table. So let's go ahead and do just that. Right above each section that says create table, above, let's go ahead and add drop table if exists, followed by the name of the specific table we're working with. For example, for this first table, it would be drop table if it exists, employees, and then we'll close it with a semicolon. Now, one thing you can do to help out with this is to copy that line and then paste it where you're going to be dropping tables, and then obviously change the table name. Comes a lot handy. As we see right here, see, just paste it, change the name of the table, and boom. Easy peasy. Instead of having to type it out over and over and over again. It gets a lot tedious sometimes. So a lot of developers will copy and paste things, makes it more easy. Alright, so now that we've got our code cleaned up and proper, let's go ahead and see the tables with some data. To do this, we're going to need to be using insert into and values. Now when we use insert into, we're going to be referencing specific columns, and then we'll add our values in the same order as the columns that we're listing. For example, if we want to start filling the table for employees, we could do something like this. We'll type insert into employees. Columns we'll be referencing will be employee name or EMP name, role, and department. And for the values, we'll insert down here let me fix the tab. So we'll do values will be, for the employee name, it'll be Bill Smith. The role, let me fix this real quick. The role will be finance associate. Oh, associate, geez, can't type today. Alright, and then the department will be finance department. We'll close out the semicolon. And there we go. Now if we wanted to fill in multiple rows of each column with multiple lines of data, we can simply just declare which columns we're filling in as we did above, and declare multiple values in groups. So I'll use the above example to show what I mean. So we'll fix this up a little bit, make it a little bit more formatted, a little bit more proper looking. We'll have our first set of data right here. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add one more section. It's going to be the same columns as well, EMP name, role, and department. We're going to go ahead and fill in a second set of data for this table. We'll go ahead and use the name Jill Jane, and she will work help desk 2. Her role will be help desk 2, and then she'll be in the department of infotech or IT. We'll just use infotech here. And we'll close it and then add a semicolon, and as you can see, we've got multiple rows of data for our table, the one table, employees, and just using just those 3 columns. Alright, well, now that concludes part 2 of the tutorial, the SQL tutorial series, excuse me. In this episode, I showed you guys how to create a column for your database, how to create a diagram for your database, how to export it as a .SQL file, how to download and start up SQL Server, how to use proper table creation etiquette with drop table if it exists, and then how to seed your tables with data. Now in part 3, I will go over how to grab specific data from the tables with select statements. These are queries, also known as transactions, that I mentioned in part 1 when I mentioned T-SQL. If you guys don't remember, simply querying the database for data is called transactions. When you do this, you're using T-SQL, which is just an extension of the SQL language. Anyways guys, thanks for watching everyone. Make sure you guys like the video, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and ping the notification bell. I've been in the middle of moving, so it took a while to get this one out, but I've been doing some recording in between everything so I can just edit it later and get it uploaded. I guarantee you guys will definitely love it.